Hey guys, this is Dr. Mcfarland, and on this week's show, we're going to talk with Cynthia Maalouf over in Lebanon, and she is a guitar player that I just came across on Instagram, and it looks like she's got some mad skills on the guitar and lots of fun things to say about her musical journey. So, hey Cynthia, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Bright and early up this morning because of the time difference, but other than that, I'm going to make it through just fine.
Okay, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome. So it's very interesting, this whole social media thing and just finding new people to talk to. And I think I posted something, I can't remember what I posted, but you liked it. And I saw you held a guitar. It's like, hey, she has a cool guitar. I'm sure she plays really well. Let's messenger and see like what her story is, you know. And here we are. Now we're talking over Skype and working through all the fun ways of figuring out microphones and all that. And
Yeah.
so let's go ahead and let's just, who are you? Like, what do you do, Cynthia? Tell the world.
Yeah, I am a guitar player from Beirut, Lebanon. I have been playing guitar for like 17 years maybe now. And I teach guitar as well. I teach through online, Skype, Zoom, or even private. Students come to my house or I go to their houses. Plus, I do social media in a local music store, and I demo one guitar per month there. And I was playing before in a TV show for a season. And so, yeah, and I perform in weddings and in live performances, so it depends. And I do gear demos as well.
Great. So I'm assuming the websites or the stores that you do the demos for, they'll post your videos and get the word out. I was like, hey, check out this new guitar. This really awesome players is using it today to demonstrate everything. And is what's the guitar stores like over there in the Middle East?
Yeah, first, in Lebanon, it's a small country comparing other countries in the Middle East. So the market is smaller. So we have a lot of great brands like Fender, Jackson, you name it, but not all the brands that you guys have in the US. So we're more limited here. But the store where I work at is the biggest one in Lebanon, and it has a lot of varieties, and we always try to get the newest series of Fender guitars, or so that we stay up to date. But of course, there are smaller shops. But we don't have a huge variety. For example, even pedals, we don't have some brands here. For example, TC Electronic, we don't have them. Because the market is small, it's not huge like to get so many brands, but we have enough what we need. And if someone wants something like I used to buy from Amazon or from other websites, things that I don't have here as a musician that I really need, or I want specific stuff.
Now it's just funny you mentioned Amazon, because I never consider Amazon being anything other than like an American thing. But Amazon is like global, right?
It is.
It's all over the world.
Yeah, it is. I shipped one of my Telecaster from Amazon 2011. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So, yeah, I just it never even crossed my mind that somewhere over in, China or, any country is like, yeah, they just go onto Amazon, click on what they want, and it shows up at their doorstep like the next day or 2 days later, just like here in America,
But it takes more time because we live more far. So even I shipped my Voodoo Lab pedal power to connect my pedals from Amazon. Yeah, it takes sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it takes a lot of time. Even sometimes when pedals or companies want me to demonstrate a certain product, they send me the product and it arrives 1 month later, or yeah.
So would you like express shipping in 1 week or just standard shipping in 4 weeks? How about you?
Oh, of course, I would love it. No, there are companies that have sent me, and companies like DHL, they're the fastest. They arrive to Lebanon in 3 days, even from, yeah. So it depends on which company they've sent it.
That's so cool. So I read a little bit about your bio on one of the websites I think you demonstrate for, and apparently you're this amazing tapper this tapping kind of guitar technique. So kind of talk about that a little bit and how you got into that kind of style.
Yeah, sure. Okay, first I play a lot of tapping, let's say the normal tapping, I mean the rock kind of tapping.
Sure, the Eddie Van Halen
Eddie
type
Van
tapping,
Halen
right.
style, exactly. But then step by step I was, when I got introduced more to guitar players in social media, and I used to listen a lot to Alan Holdsworth. But Alan Holdsworth, I don't compare myself to him, of course, but his ideas of playing chord melody fascinated me a lot. So he used to do a lot of chord tapping. Chord tapping is a different word, it's...
Sure,
you think more, the way of thinking is more like a pianist, or, because you can add more melodies and harmonies to your playing, because you have more fingers on the fretboard. So I was doing that before, and I was playing as well country music. I was learning how to play country. I was enjoying it a lot. And then I figured that in country music they play a B-bender. They use B-benders. I don't know if you know about that. It's a mechanism at the back of the guitar, and it's attached to the B string. And it's used because when you play a chord, you cannot bend, let's say, the pinky if you're pressing a chord. So with a B-bender, you can bend a half step or a whole step. So it will make the sound of a pedal steel. What I've done was, I think no one did that before at that time. I did it in 2015. I started to upload videos playing chords, even like major seventh, minor seventh chord, just not typical chords only, plus tapping and plus bending with the taps.
Wow.
So it did a weird sound, and a lot of people were reacting to my videos. They were saying, what is this? What is she doing? What is this style? So it was different. It was weird, if you want to describe it. But it's fun.
No, it's good, though.
Yeah, I started to develop it more and more and more. So, yeah.
Well, I think it's fascinating. So,
thank you.
Can we safely say you've heard it here first that you were the first person to do like a B-bender and tapping at the same time?
I think, yes, I was the first. Yes.
I think it's cool that you can kind of stumble on little unknown techniques just out of like curiosity. He's like, hey, what would happen if I did this tapping and used a B-bender? It's like, that'd be...
Yeah. Actually, I remember this moment. I was in my house, and I was... I don't know, because I thought I had this B-bender, and I said, let's do something different with it, and not being just typical, and usually even before that I like to mix styles. In general, I like to mix funk with country, with left hand muting, do some crazy stuff. I don't like to be just labeled as a rock player or a country player or a blues player. I like to mix styles to be unique, to create something new. So this day I thought I want to do something different with the B-bender, and by when you try, how to say, trial and error, you do stuff. So I said, it's kind of working with me, but I should practice a lot. So that's what I did. I was practicing a lot, and so that I can get the more natural way to do it, because it's really hard. I mean, you have to pull with your shoulder, make sure you're tapping, because if you like mess a little bit, it can go really out of tune, and what you're playing can sound off tune. Yeah,
I can imagine. I do well just to bend normally, so can't imagine trying to do like a B-bender thing and a tapping technique. And it is kind of weird, like because the neck is moving away from you technically as you tap at the same time, right? So it's like everything has to move in sync with each other.
And you have to sit the kind of classical way. The best way is to sit how classical players sit. They put the left foot on a footstool, and because when you do the B-bender, you have to find the right angle to do it. So if you're sitting like normal players, I don't know, it's a bit annoying. It's kind of impossible.
Well, that's crazy. So what is I guess B-benders are mainly made by Fender, right? So I guess...
there are by Fender, but there are companies like PW Classic. Mine was, it's called the PW. We shipped it all the way from US till here. And my friend, he's a luthier, he's a great luthier, his name is George. He installed it on my guitar and he did it like handmade. He did a great job on it. So yeah, and by the way, there are G benders as well.
So I think you can, like a B, you go down, and the G, you go out.
Yeah, I guess
right?
it's something like
that.
that.
Is that about right?
Yeah, I guess. You know, I played one G bender at the NAMM show. There was at the Wampler booth. They had the G bender, but I don't remember if it was down or up in 2016. It could have been, I don't know. I think it's the way it's built.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the NAMM show was at, let's talk about NAMM for a second.
Yeah.
So, do you just fly all the way from Lebanon to, is it California? Usually you go to the Anaheim show?
Yes, from Beirut to Los Angeles.
Wow, okay.
It's a very long trip, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Have you ever been to the Nashville NAMM show?
No, but I would love to.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know about going forward in future years, but this last year was the last one for Nashville, because next year the NAMM show is going to be it's going to be like a summertime, so that's going to be interesting. And with me even being in California or in America here, I've never been to California. I never flew out there, never drove, just never had the opportunity or need to do that. I think for next year I'm going to try and save up some money and try and go, because I think it'd be fun just to experience it,
It is very fun, very interesting, and you get to meet a lot of people with different musical backgrounds and a lot of connections. I think it's pretty cool.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So with NAMM, obviously there's gear all around you. So let's kind of talk about, like, what's your main amplifier right now? What amps do you like to use mainly?
What I like, I would love to have a Fender like reverb amp or something like that. But I've been using a Marshall AVT-20. It's like a hybrid amp, so it's very cool. It's very good for practice, and even for gigs, it works as well. But I would love to have a Fender one. But right now, with the crisis in Lebanon, it's kind of impossible. To be honest. To invest in a great amp, it's a bit hard.
Yeah, so when you say it's a hybrid amp, does that mean it's like a tube preamp and a solid-state power amp?
It's like in the middle, yeah.
Is it fairly light for you to carry around to gigs, or do you need a dolly for it, or are you working on your muscles there a little bit?
Actually, it is a workout. It's not huge and it's not small, but it is heavy, yeah. But someone should help me, or I should carry it, step by step.
Well, that's what you have a husband for. He can carry your amp for you.
Poor guy.
Hey, this guy's my roadie. He's going to bring in all my gear, Where'd you like your stuff, dear? Oh, just over there on the stage. Thanks, honey.
See you later.
Yeah, it's bringing a whole new dynamic to your relationship. So that's pretty funny. So what's on your pedal board right now?
Yeah, right now I have two TC electronic pedals. The first one is the Hall of Fame reverb pedal, and the other is the Corona chorus pedal. I love them so much. I bought them when I went to the US, because here obviously we don't have.
Oh, that's the best time to get it, yeah.
Exactly, it's very good. I had to invest in my gears, so I got the advantage to do that. And I have a Boss TR2 tremolo. I got it from here, and an MXR carbon copy analog delay, also from here. And I have my distortion pedal. It's a Sir Riot. I got it from Italy. I was in Rome, and because here also you don't find Sir products at all in any store. So and I fell in love with it because it has like 3 outputs, and you can play something really heavy, and then you can just play something bluesy, and it's so versatile. I love it. And recently, the company called All Pedal, they've started just a few months ago. They sent me 2 pedals, the Slamerai Overdrive.
Okay.
It's very nice. I didn't demo it yet, but I'm gonna do it very soon. Also, it has a very clean overdrive. It's very, very nice. And they sent me a compressor pedal called Galacta Vice. I've already done a video with it, combined with a wah pedal. So yeah, and I've done a detailed demo. If you go to my YouTube channel, you're gonna find out what I've talked about it. And I did a comparison. If you play with the pedal on and with the pedal off, so you can hear the difference what the pedal does with the compression. And the last one is the Joe Bonamassa wah pedal signature. I got it from the local store where I work now. I don't know, there's something about it that I love. It has something different than the Crybaby that, you know, it's more powerful or more, I don't know, the tone is just, it got into me, so I got it immediately when I tried
it makes your guitar weep, right?
Yeah. You can say so.
That's great. So with your Marshall amp, do you just keep it on a clean sound and just use pedals for all your dirt, or do you have do you ever use a second channel on the amp, or does it even have a second channel?
No, it doesn't have a second channel, but
it's just a single channel. Okay.
Yeah, I put my EQ the way I want, and then I control my pedals. So I don't even use the overdrive of the Marshall unless I was somewhere without the pedals. You know what I mean? So if I was somewhere and I didn't have any pedal, I would use it. But since I have my pedal board, I have my sound, so I'm just gonna make the EQ on the amp and the other stuff, the pedal board.
That's great. Coincidentally, I came into possession of a Shure Sheba Reloaded pedal. One of my friends, he's wanted me to demo some stuff for him and then sell it for him, which is fine with me. It's like, all right, I'll demo it and sell it for you. It's fine with me. So, Shure stuff is great. I actually met Pete Thorne. Are you aware of Pete Thorne?
Yes, he's a great player. He demos a lot of gear. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you almost see a new video from him every day. He's cranking out a lot of stuff. But he was in Nashville about maybe 2013 or so, and he had just released his PT3, maybe that's what it's called. It was basically like his 3-channel Shure amplifier.
Okay.
And we all went and watched him play at this clinic that he did, and I was able to play his guitar, and my friend took a picture of me playing his guitar, and Pete's standing there looking over me hey, this guy's pretty good. It's a little Tino. So yeah, I'm very aware of the Shure products that he uses and the guitars he has, and yes, sir. Anything really he plays just sounds amazing anyway.
Yeah,
right?
True.
So
yeah,
that's cool. So do you do any video production stuff, or does the stores do all of the video stuff for you when you do your demos?
I do them.
You do them yourself, okay.
I do everything. As a social media, I take pictures of the products. Imagine, not just guitar. I mean, it could be anything, piano, harmonicas, anything. I do all that stuff, and I post them. Yeah, and even my demos, I edit them because when I show, for example, the bridge pickup or pickups in parallel or in series, whatever, I just write everything. I do them in my house. I edit them, and so I do everything related to the media page.
No, that's great. That's a good skill to have, especially in this day of computers and
exactly.
just everything being online. So
something, because I post the things in a way, because I'm a musician and a guitarist, so I see things the way a guitarist see it, in a guitarist point of view, so maybe this helps also. Because imagine I'm not a musician, maybe you see it differently. So I see it the way maybe a guitarist. I put myself as a guitar player who wants to buy this product. So
that's great.
Yeah, it helps.
Do you have a multi-camera setup, or is it just a one-shot kind of thing, or how does that look for you?
In the store, you mean?
Yeah, when you're setting up for the shot, do you have 2 cameras pointing at different angles so you can switch between them later, or is it just one shot, or how does that work?
No, it's just one shot.
Okay.
I'm thinking to get my camera. I have a video camera that captures video, but I'm thinking to do that after. But for now, it's just one shot.
Okay, well, that's great. I mean, I still think it's a great skill to have, and I've been doing YouTube. I think my first YouTube video was maybe back in 2010 or so. It's been a while. But yeah, I learn more and more about video stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn, actually.
There is, and I try to keep my setup fairly simple. I just have a Canon M50 with a 16 millimeter lens, and then I'll use my iPhone a lot for like a secondary shot, like if I'm doing like a pedal or an amp. Just put the camera or the phone over the whatever product, and then just blend them together later in post when you're editing everything together. So, try not to get too crazy about it all, but it's fun to learn for sure.
Yes, of course. In previous videos I've done, I used my GoPro Hero 4 long time in 2014. Yeah. It was the trend at that time, so it helped me a lot. But then I got a Canon also, and sometimes many times I use it, but one shot fixed. But there are covers that I've done in a studio, and there, of course, they were taking for me different angles, because me myself alone, I wouldn't be able to do that. So
yeah. So they're pointing down the fretboard, like looking at your hand at a certain angle and stuff. It's very artistic.
True, and it's funny because just today morning I was thinking that for the next demos of the local store where I work at, I want to do that. That idea to take some shots, the fretboard or whatever. Yeah.
No, that's great. Well, let's talk about a little bit more about your music. And do you do any originals or instrumentals, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, they're mostly instrumentals. There's nothing like, how to say, like an official EP or album or single that is released yet. I've done one collaboration with a French bass player. It was an original composition of mine, but it's a short one. It's on YouTube. So he plays on I don't know in this video which one he used. I think he used the 8 strings fretless bass. So he created weird sounds, and I created weird sounds with the B-bender. It was very interesting.
What was the song called? Weird Sounds?
It's called it's called the Light Heart, yeah. But
that's cool.
And I really want to release my original music, but it's taking time because I want it to be done in a very good way and original and creative. So I don't want to rush into it. I want to do it in the right time, in the right way, of course.
Maybe your husband can do some background vocals for you.
Yeah, because he's Spanish, so maybe he can add
that's cool.
He can add some Spanish vibes to it.
That's really awesome. I was wondering if you just had like any Spotify stuff or Apple iTunes or anything
hopefully,
like that. But it's coming soon in a store near you.
Yeah.
Right? That's awesome. So, interesting enough, you have a Leonard Skinner shirt on.
Oh yeah, I love that.
So let's talk about some of your influences when you first started playing and how you came to get a Leonard Skinner shirt.
Okay, I will get to that. First, when I was 12 years old, in my parents' house, I was watching MTV. Okay, and there used to be these bands with punk rock, and I don't know, when the first time I saw punk and rock, I was so fascinated. I thought, what is this? I want to be like that, It was so cool for me. So I kept on telling my parents, I want to learn the electric guitar, and they were like, no, you should start classical, the old thinking, classical guitar, and I don't know what. And okay, the deal with them was that I learn a classical for 1 year, and then I switched to electric, so that's what happened. And then I bought my first electric guitar pack. It was a Stag Chinese guitar with the amp and everything. And I started to get into punk rock, mainstream rock, whatever, this style. And step by step, I was getting into blues music, and I was enjoying it. And then I started to get into classic rock. Here, everything changed. From here, I bought my Strat, a Fender Strat. My dad bought it for me actually in 2007. And when I saw Richie Blackmore and I heard the way he plays, he was just, that was it. From here, I got stuck with guitar from that moment.
That's
because
great.
The way he was playing, his composition, I don't know, something, was very... So yeah, so if you want to say influences, I would say Richie Blackmore, all these Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, all this stuff. And after that, I got into Leonard Skinner, Southern rock, and country music. I like to listen to different styles. I don't mind to listen even to metal music. I really like it. So anything, and I cannot tell you who are my real who influenced me to play guitar, because there are too many guitar players.
Right.
So but the main one who pushed me was Richie Blackmore, for sure.
Well, it sounds like to me, you're doing a great job of taking stuff that you've heard, but not letting it, capture you in a box, right? You're always experimenting and trying out different sounds, and the whole tapping and B-bender thing. Even Jimmy Page didn't even do stuff like that. So it's like you're taking little bits and pieces from different players, but you're using your creative mind to just do your own thing, which I think is great.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't like to copy any guitar player, and of course, any way or another, I'm gonna play a lick that is very similar to any famous guitarist, or but at the end, what I like when people recognize me from certain sounds or certain licks that I play that became more my signature playing. This is what I like, because imagine now you put headphones and you listen to a guitarist playing or copying, for example, John Petrucci. I wouldn't enjoy it, because if I want to listen to John Petrucci, I will go to John Petrucci and I will listen to his playing, and that's enough. I don't need to hear copies of the same guitarist all over again. So for me, creativity is everything in music. Yeah.
Well, I think one of these days, when you have your album out and you have a body of work that people can listen to, there's gonna be like a little girl or a little boy somewhere in the world be like, "Man, I heard this." And then they're gonna talk about their musical experience like 20 years later. Like, yeah, 20 years ago, I heard this lady over in Lebanon called Cynthia, and she's like rocking out, and she totally inspired me to play, which I think is beautiful. It's really great.
Of course, yes. Of course, it would be really nice when I hear people reaching out and saying, for example, you inspired me, or especially women, because, women, but now it's different. But long time ago, they used to look up to them like, they didn't have the rights like men in music. They were always, you look at them like as inferior, but now I think it's the opposite. We see a lot of good female guitarists, so it's different. But I love when many girls reach out to me and they tell me, you are inspiring me, and thank you for your music, and so it's very cool.
Well, that's great. Well, that's what I was kind of thinking about when I first saw your profile on Instagram. Is like, wow, she holds the guitar confidently. Surely she has a great story, and I think this conversation has brought all that out. You're really doing a lot of great stuff there, Cynthia, and I really commend you for all that. It's great for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything that let's talk about your husband for a little bit. Is there any musical talents that he has, or is he just a roadie at this point?
No, he's a soccer coach.
Soccer coach, cool.
Yeah. He's not a musician, but he enjoys music a lot, and he likes when I play guitar. And even when I don't practice a lot, he tells me, go practice, go play, make videos, don't settle. He likes when that's why maybe I'm with him, because, he's the kind of husband that supports me, not the opposite. There are people who would tell me, for example, a long time ago, what are you doing? Stop doing video, just to push you down. So he's the kind of person that opposite. He just wants me to become even more successful.
Right. Yeah, it's very important to realize with any of this social media stuff that nothing is going to be an overnight success.
Definitely.
Each video you make is just going to get you one step closer to whatever goal you have.
Yeah.
Whether you have one subscriber on YouTube or Instagram, or maybe you have like thousands or whatever, it's like, I think the goal is not the number of people that follows you, but just the quality of the interaction
True.
that you have between whether you're potential students or just, people that enjoy what you're doing on social media. Like maybe they like a picture, be like, hey, she must be really cool. Let's check out what else she does. Then they find out more about your techniques and, just other ways to find people that are doing something different than you, and then just being inspired by that. So I think it's amazing. But real fast, what would you say to potential people that are interested in learning music and just in general? Like, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would tell them that first, learning music or any instrument is very, very good. It helps you. It's therapy within itself. But if you wanna be successful or do something, you have to work really hard, and don't listen to negative people. Don't listen to people who criticize just to criticize. You know what kind of people I'm talking about. Not the constructive criticism, because I've had people who helped me through some comments, but there are people that just want to bring you down. So don't listen to anyone. Be strong, and if this is your passion and you love it, so you have to do it from your heart, and you will get so many good things. And of course, something else, no matter where you live in the world, with music, if you do well, you work so hard, amazing things can happen.
Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in to this episode with Cynthia. And I will leave all her social media links and where you can find information about her in the description of this podcast and the YouTube channel.